Okay, you guys, so I was making a pecan pie. Okay, I made a pecan pie and I had some pecans left, brown sugar, and I'm like, okay, let me make a cake too, because these pecan pies, my family is going to run through them. And they absolutely did. Okay, both are gone. But anyway, so I am starting off by oiling my pan. So I oiled it, and y'all see me made a mess with flour because I did have no more baker's joy. So I did it the old school way that my grandma taught me, making sure I was getting it all around the rims of the top of the pan as well. And then I'm just going to set that to the side while I make my cake. So I am just going to enhance a box cake, and I'm going to tell you, there is absolutely nothing wrong with using a box cake. But you can do it from scratch if you want to, and I'll link a video below. Okay, so I started off with a box cake mixture, and then all of my ingredients are room temperature. So I have added 4 eggs, and then I added in a half a cup of flour and a 1/4 cup of sugar, regular sugar, and I added in a half of a teaspoon of baking powder. I also used milk. I used some warm almond milk instead of using water, and I added melted butter, 1 cup of melted butter, and then I went ahead and added in a whole packet of pudding mix. All I had was cheesecake. And so I poured in the cheesecake pudding mix. All right, and so after I got everything all mixed up, and please don't over mix your batter, we don't do that, okay? So after I got everything all mixed up, I added in 3 different flavors of extracts. I used cookie nip, I used almond extract, and I used cake batter. Okay, all right. So and then I went again and gave that a swirl, got it all mixed in, and once I couldn't see those different colors anymore, it was done. Moved it to the side. So now I am going to make the filling / topping for this Sock-It-To-Me cake. Okay, so I started off with 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. I added a dash of cinnamon, and then I crunched up some nuts, not just any nuts, some pecans. Crushed up some pecans, and I mixed it all together. Some just did not get crushed, and so I went ahead and broke those up in pieces. Now I am just going to assemble this for the baking purposes. So what I did was pour half of my batter, and I spooned it. I should have poured it, it would have been so much quicker. So I'm like, let me pour this in here. I pour half of my batter into the pan, and this pan is way too big. Like, this is like the super most utter triple, quadruple size pound cake, so it's not going to be this big. If I wanted this big, I would have needed to add more flour or just bake it from scratch, but I could have just added more flour and more baking powder. So once I did the once I did the layer of batter, I put the mixture that I mixed up. I'm not going to use it all. I'm going to save some for the top. But if you don't want to put it on top and you just want to put just some pecans on top, you can, by all means, put the whole thing in there. But I just put enough to go around and cover up 1 layer, and then I'm going to pour the rest of my cake batter on top of this and just smooth it out to prepare for baking. Okay, so I'm going to place my cake in the oven. It's heated at 325 degrees for 50 minutes. All right, so now while that is in the oven, we're going to go ahead and make the icing to go on top of the cake. By all means, you can use frosting, but it tastes so much better just with the icing layer. So I'm going to start off with some powdered sugar, and I am going to be using 1 cup of powdered sugar. And then I'm going to add in some milk. Okay, and for the milk, I am adding 2 tablespoons and a half. Weird, right? 2 tablespoons and a half a tablespoon. Okay, and so I'm just going to mix that up. So I may need more milk later, but we'll see. So I'm going to be using my whisk to whisk that up, and then I decided to add in a teaspoon of cookie nip, which that wasn't even a full teaspoon, but I didn't want it to be too sweet because we already bombed the cake out with flavors and extracts. So I'm using my whisk to just whisk that up until it becomes nice and smooth. Okay, so the cake is out the oven. I let it sit on this cooling rack in the pan for about 6 minutes. And now I am going to flip it or take it out of the pan. So I am using a 10-inch round cake board. You definitely can use a plate. You do not have to have a cake board. All right, and so I'm just going to flip it and give it a little jiggle till I feel that it has fallen out, and it fell. I felt it. So this was kind of hot. It wasn't that hot, so I went ahead and just lifted it off. And you guys, here is my cake. It smells so good, and I have no pieces left over. Nothing that's up to the pan. This was definitely a non-stick pan. Actually new. My sister just recently sent it to me from my favorite store, which is Target. All right, so I have my icing here, and I touched the cake just to make sure it wasn't too hot. And now I am just going to pour the icing or drizzle the icing from the bowl all around the cake. And I'm going to leave a little bit because I want to add some more after I add the toppings on it. So I have the brown sugar and nut mixture, what we had left from what we put in the inside of the filling. And I am just going to sprinkle that all around the cake until, not that it's fully covered, but until we just use all of this. Okay, so now I'm just going to pour the icing that I had left on top of this. And this is absolutely optional. Absolutely optional. But if you want to make it good, pour it on top. Okay, you guys, this is the finished product. The finished cake. The finished Sock-It-To-Me, give it to me cake. And when I tell y'all this is good, oh my gosh, it is so good, so moist, so delicious. All right, so I'm just gonna cut a couple of pieces. It's me and my daughter are, we're gonna eat this. Okay, this is definitely giving me coffee cake vibes, and we actually have this the next morning with a cup of coffee. And well, my daughter had some cappuccino, but we had it with coffee. All right, so we ate this or drunk this. No, we ate this. We ate this while drinking a cup of coffee. My words are all twisted inside of, but yeah. So this is how we look on the inside after I cut a few slices. And you guys, here is my daughter's reaction. Please don't ask me why she chose to scoop it out from the middle. I guess she wanted more of the nuts and the cinnamon and that sugar because she loves sugar. But here's her dancing reaction. So funny, super cute. This is so good. All right, you guys, well, thanks for watching, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Bye.